Hello everyone, I'm here today with a flip through. I've been working on my album from Iceland. When we were there, we actually only stayed in Reykjavik. We did not go outside of the city, we just didn't have time for that. So we spent all our time in the city. The trip was in April. It was part of a trip I took to London and then Scotland, then back to London, then to Iceland, then home. So we had a lot of stops on that trip. But I have finished the other parts of it, and now all I have left is Iceland. So I've been working on this for the last couple of days, and it's actually going much faster than I thought it would. And I think part of that is because I am choosing to do the pocket page style. It just goes way faster for me than a 12 by 12 layout. So I'm really happy with the progress I've made so far. So I'm going to show you what I've done to this point. I think I'm about halfway. I may change up a few things, but I think I'm about halfway. So this is my opening page here. And I'm using a ton of different products for this album. I don't tend to just grab one manufacturer or one type of thing and then use it, so I mix and match. I believe this card is from Pretty Little Studio. I'm not positive, but I think it is. And then this little circle is from a digital kit that I bought in, I can't remember what it was. I think I got it on the lily pad, if I'm not mistaken. And it comes with a bunch of circle elements and then some phrases and things. So I just print them and cut them out. So I did that here and just put a little staple in there. And then this here is actually a sticker. And I had pre-bought that before we even took the trip. So it's been sitting in my stash for a while. And it fit just barely on this card, so I thought that would work, and it had the nice navy that went together. And this card actually was just a piece of random paper that I had in my stash. I thought it would work because of stars and northern lights and grays and neutral, so I went with it. And then the bottom, this is a card from the Project Life app, and I don't remember which set it's from either. Sorry guys. But it's on there if you're looking for it. A lot of the designs have this type of look to them, and it's kind of this deep red and like a hunter green and a navy and then a brown. So if you're looking for that set, look for those colors and those designs. And then I just did a bunch of journaling. So then we'll look at the next one. This is, oops, there we go. Move that over a little bit. This is a layout that goes together, but we'll look at this page first. So again, this was just a piece of paper I had in my stash. I cut it to size. This, I think, is from In a Creative Bubble, one of her digital kits. And it is a circle already, so I just punched it out. It was pretty simple. And I always like to take photos over the wing, and this was a night flight, so most of the pictures that I get over the wing are day shots. They're sunshine or they have clouds in them or something, but here it was a pretty clear evening when we flew in, but it was dark already. We left London at a little bit after 9 o'clock at night, so it was dark already. And then this is from inside the plane. We flew Icelandair, and they do northern lights on the plane, and it's a good thing they did because we didn't see them when we were there. Once we were on the ground, there was no chance that we were going to see those, so it's a good thing we saw them on the plane. Here is the right side of this layout, and I loved this quote when I saw it on the wall. This quotation is probably the best ever. When you come through the customs area in the airport in Iceland, this is on the wall. And it stopped me in my tracks, literally. I had to stop, pull out my camera, take a picture, and then go through the security area to have them check my passport because that was just too cool. All I did here was just stamped photo op and then did a label. And I think I made this label myself. Do I have my stamp sitting here? I do. This one. This is a set from Alton New, I think is how you say it. I've been lusting after for quite some time, and I finally bought it about a month ago, and I love it. Then I can make labels whenever I want in whatever color I want. And then this is just as you're passing through all the gates and everything to get out to the main area of the airport. So I included that as well. Just did a little washi, stamped that on there. That's from a Kelly Perky set. And then put a little wooden geotag on there. So then this is the next layout. Let's see if I can get them both in there. There we go. So left side, when you come into the airport, you have an option. I mean, you could certainly get a taxi if you want, but the airport's a little ways out there. It's not quick into the city normally. So you can do the fly bus where you pay in advance. They take you from the airport directly to your hotel and they sort you by zones. So our hotel was in the green zone. So everybody on our bus was going to a hotel that was relatively in the same area. And then you can schedule a pickup and they do the same thing to take you back to the airport when you leave. So it's pretty slick. It was totally worth the money for us. So we were in the green zone. So I tried to match everything to that. I found this fun card I had. I think this is one from a Kelly Perky kit, I think. Looks like her. Just stamped bus. That's also from one of her stamp sets. And then had the picture on there. And we just laughed hard because I don't know why, but our bus had a mustache on it. So, pretty fun. And then this is the right side. This was my one sort of meh thing about our time in Iceland. Oh, our hotel. It was called Hotel Fron, Fron. And, you can never tell what hotels are like just by the pictures. I knew this one was going to be a little bit different, first of all, because many of the buildings in Reykjavik are old. They've been there a long time. And hotels, no matter what kind they are very expensive there. Since they had their financial crisis, everything is expensive, but hotels are certainly. But I liked the idea of this one because it said it had the kitchenette. So we could cook if we wanted, or at least make coffee. And to have that option would be really nice since it's very expensive to eat in the city. When we got there, so there's a main building of the hotel. And then there are like 3 annex buildings. The main building, I think, is newer and it appeared much nicer. We were in one of the annex buildings, and I don't know if you can see it just by looking at these pictures. It's pretty old. Like the sheets don't match, and the curtains are very thin. The wallpaper was kind of grungy, I think. It's not like it was overly dirty. It's just old. The floor, though, was uneven. We walked across it and we could feel soft spots. And we're like, are we going to fall through this floor? So it was interesting. So in my journaling here, I wrote about all of that. And the beds were absolutely horrible. I have a bad back and I could barely sleep on it. So I was very crabby, which I wrote when I went to sleep because it was 1:30 in the morning. And then to find out that this was not at all what we expected. So it wasn't the best of times at 1:30 in the morning. So here's the next layout, and actually it goes like this. I have an insert here, and then the other side is like this. So we actually have multiple things here. So there's the outside of Hotel Fron. So see, it looks very nice from the outside, but once you get inside and in those other buildings, not so much. This, I don't remember where this paper is from, but it had planes on it, so I thought it was fitting. And then this, I think, was also from the Project Life app, and I printed it, but then cut it to just look like a banner across here. This is from the Project App Life. I remember that. I've used this before. If you've seen the video of my flip through from my traveler's notebook from London, you'll see this same pattern in there. So I love it. It's so colorful and has fun little icons on it. So here's the insert. So when I travel, what I do is I put each day's items in a bag. So I had brought these Ziploc baggies with me. They're gallon size. And then each day I drop in all my receipts, my brochures, business cards, whatever it is, tickets that I pick up along the way, so that they're all clearly sorted for when I get home. And I don't have to shuffle through anything. I know exactly where they are and they're in order. So I had them all out on the bed, just kind of looking through things before we left the hotel. And so took a picture of that, just did a little tag that I had. I did some ghost stamping here, put a little staple in. And then I love their money there. It's so pretty and it's so colorful and just unusual. I've never seen anything like it. And so I decided that I would take a picture of one of the bills that I had. And it matched this and this. And then on this side, we move on to breakfast. I'm going to put this in here because really when you flip it, you're looking at this, and this is all about breakfast. So we had a very traditional Icelandic breakfast. They don't do it like they do in the States. So they offer cheese and meat as part of breakfast, which we normally do not here. But I like that, so I took it. This was a very good dark bread. We had hard-boiled eggs. They also have their own brand of yogurt there that is particular to Iceland. It's a little bit more bitter than what we're used to, but I liked it. So I just put some granola in it, and I had that for my breakfast. It was lovely. And so here's kind of how the buffet looked when I was out. They also offer tomatoes for breakfast. Now, I've been other places in Europe where they do that, so that actually didn't surprise me. My daughter, it was her first time overseas. She thought that was a little strange, but we went for it. We decided, why not? And then they have this beautiful bar inside the eatery area of the hotel. So it shows you much more modern here than in the other areas. And then I just did some journaling about our breakfast. And then our first stop of the day was Hallgrímskirkja, which is their big church that's pretty famous. If you see this, most people know it. It was fairly close to our hotel. So we decided, okay, we're going to walk up there because it's up on the hill. We'll start there and then kind of work our way down after we were done. So this is out front, looking from just down the street a little. And then this is a statue of Leif Erikson, given to Iceland by the United States, actually. And so I wanted to make sure that I included that. And then I just journaled some basics about the church, you know, how big it is and who it's named after and when it was consecrated and that kind of stuff. And then this is accurate. This is one of my favorite photos that I took when I was there. It's just so imposing. And it was very cloudy that day. And so the sky did look white. I didn't do anything to that. That's the way that it looked when I took it. And then this was some paper, and I think, I was going to say chamel, but I don't know if it is. But it's a wintry thing, and behind here, you can't see it, there's a little deer, and like some things that really make you know it's Christmas themed paper. But I thought I could get away with it if I just covered it up. So then it just looks like there's sparkling snow and a little bit falling, which there was that day, so I thought that was perfect. Then we moved on to going inside the church. You can visit the main floor for free. As long as there isn't any major activity happening, you can just go in. The choir was practicing when we were there, but they said, you know, as long as you're quiet and you don't disturb them, it's fine. So we went in there first and did the main area, and this was just hanging outside, but it shows all these different sketches of the church, which I thought was kind of fun. So I found a nice yellow background there. Did some washi, put on these little phrases here. These are from a digital kit as well, and I don't remember whose they are either. That might have been purchased at the Lily Pad. Not sure. I'd have to look on my computer to tell. But I just put a bunch of those on there. I'm using those throughout the album, so you'll see them again. And then this is another one where I have an insert. So these actually face each other. So this is just the main door when you go in. This is pretty much the most adornment you'll see in the church. There are a couple other small things, but otherwise it's very stark, very clean lines, not ornate by any means. So it was kind of fun to see something pretty on the door there. And then I just put the washi so that it would match. And so here's the inside. Look at that ceiling. It's crazy. It's at its full height, it's 244 feet. This is quite imposing, and everything echoes in there. So even if you're talking quietly, which we were, I felt like the sound was bouncing off everything. So we chose to just kind of be quiet. Once we figured that out, we thought, well, we don't want to disturb the choir or anybody else who's in there. There were other tourists. And so we just took it in silence. And that was okay. And then here's your right side. So these go together. I tried to match these colors to this up here so that it would seem cohesive. But they did have one statue there, but again, very plain. Nothing really adorning it. This, you know, not quite so plain. It's not super fancy, but we thought it was an interesting design. And I just talked about how the choir was singing when we were there. And I have to say, I'm not a religious person, but I tend to visit a lot of churches when I travel because they have the best architecture. And it's just fun, to go in there and look. And actually hearing that choir sing was fantastic. Couldn't understand a word they were saying because it was all in Icelandic, but still totally worth it. So here are the next two. So these two sit like this. I have another insert. So I just thought that the pews were interesting. Look at that. So it's made to look just like the outside of the church, those basalt columns. And then because there are mountains, I thought this was fitting and it worked with the color scheme there. Just put a wood veneer on there, nothing too fancy, and this is just a puffy sticker. So then this one will face it like that. Just another view, horizontal though, of those huge windows going up to that ceiling. And I definitely would say it's limited edition. I've never seen another church like this. Definitely very Nordic. And then this is also from a Project Life kit on the app. And then this one I just liked because it didn't have a lot of stained glass. This might have been the only one actually. But I love that kind of aqua tone. And so I wanted to make sure that that was included as well. And then this side matches but doesn't. I tried to get a blue that worked with that. And then I also wanted some kind of pattern that looked relatively like this. So I went with this pattern because if you look at that and that, they kind of are similar. So I chose that one. I'm not 100% sold on the color, but it's done now. So it's going to stay in there. So I just put it on white, and then I did this sort of with a matte. It doesn't go all the way around, just to break up dark colors. And then I just put some word phrases. There we go. Word stickers, if my camera will focus. There we go. I believe those are from A Beautiful Mess. I think I have them right here. Let me look. Yes, they are. Or wait, no. Here's the sheet they come on. Studio Calico, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure, but this is what they come with. As you can see, I've used quite a bit, and that's good. So this part, I cheated, I have to tell you. I pulled all this from the internet. I don't mind my handwriting, but that's a lot to write out, and I wanted to make sure that I had a good chunk of the history of the church here, and so I just printed this off the internet on cardstock and then mounted it on this lovely sea glass glitter paper. Added some washi and some more of those phrases. That was it. That one was pretty simple. And then here's the facing page here. So this was the ticket that we were given, or that I was given. We each had one, to go up into the tower because there's an observation area up there. And then I do know this card is from Studio Calico. I just thought it fit that color scheme really well. Plus it had black in it, so it worked. Did a little bit of journaling there. And then here's our first view from up in the tower. It's freezing cold, but the views were awesome. So this one has a flip, and I just thought that was cool. The places you'll go. And then another view. So we have two views there of downtown. And then on to the next layout, which looks like this. So on this side, more views from up top. This is obviously directly overlooking the front of the church. And then I found this card, and I don't remember which pack this is from. This might actually be a Creative Memories one. Can't remember. No, it's not, because it's got square corners, and they round theirs. Nope. But I thought it was fitting because it shows the city streets and the layout. And we're basically looking down on how everything is laid out in Reykjavik. So I thought that worked. And it's that color again, so it works. And this is probably my favorite layout so far. I love this photo. I had a metallic finish put on it through Nations Photo Lab, and it's fantastic. And then I just had, this was actually a tag. I cut out the center part, filled it in, put it on there. This is a ticket. I believe that's also from Studio Calico. Put that on there, and I had a little flare badge, and it just happened to be red. And so it matched the washi and the red in some of the buildings. So the opposite page, there's that. On the opposite page here, this is the last layout I have, so they go like this. We had been given a map of the city and the hop-on, hop-off bus route in case we wanted to do it. We did not do that. We just chose to walk everywhere. But I thought, well, I could do something with that. And so I thought it was fitting that we were just looking at the city, and then here was where we were. We were up here on the hill, and so we were going to walk down this way and into the city. So I thought it was appropriate to have kind of the downtown area laid out on a map so we could orient where we were when we were there. So I just did some more of those word phrases, some different washi, had this flare, and you know, I've had this forever. Didn't know what the heck I was going to do with it. It's just like a sunburst. I mean, I don't know what I would do with it, but it worked again because of the color. So I thought, all right, I'm going to put that on there. And these were just scraps I had in my stash that just happened to work. And then here's the last one. So this is the facing page here. So we decided to walk down on the main shopping street before we went to our next touristy stop. Their buildings are fascinating there, so I wanted to make sure that I featured those photos. So there's all kinds of murals and paintings like this on the sides of buildings. And I don't know if it's because it's dreary there a lot of the year and so they want to spice it up and have interesting things to look at, or if they just have a huge artist community. I know they have a lot of writers that live there, but I'm wondering if they have a large artist community, so I have to look into that before I go back. But I wanted to feature the uniqueness of those things because I've never seen anything like it anywhere else. And then this photo, I just love the view. We were just walking down the street, happened to kind of look to our right, and you could see right out to the harbor and then the mountains with snow. So I thought that was pretty gorgeous. Couldn't pass up having that in there. And I just journaled a little bit about the shopping that we did. So that's as far as I am right now. Again, I think I'm about halfway. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing how I put this together and the products I used and why I used them. And I'll be back with the second half at some point soon, I hope. So thanks for watching, everyone.